BDO South Africa is a professional audit, tax, and advisory firm that's part of a global network of firms in over 160 countries. We have offices in 7 locations nationally with more than 2,400 qualified staff ready to assist our clients. Welcome to our Clarity Unscripted podcast. Here, you will find transparent content that's both insightful and unfiltered. No holds barred, just pure clarity.
So the learning part as well, was also important, and also the discipline, especially the financial discipline, was key.
And not a lot of people speak about that. Everyone would say, yes, I started the business, it's great. The fact that you're going into these key aspects of a business, it says that, I can see you going back to those moments. And you're saying, I had to cut here, I had to fetch this there. Not a lot of people go there because they're just like, I started a business, but they don't tell, well, I actually had a massive fund, I had business.
Yeah.
You're actually getting into the crux. Let's go into this discipline. What kind of discipline does it take?
Yeah. Firstly, the discipline of, when we talk about priorities, like prioritizing your finances is an easy task, not. Because it also gets to a point where it tests your character. Then when you're like, okay, yeah, I could make a choice to pay myself so much and, pay maybe so much with my employees. But, for me, I started off by actually looking at the market. I would do the market research to find out what is the market salary so that I pay people fairly and all that, so the financial discipline really that to make sure that you pay people fairly. And I had to start off with, doing the market research, how much a person that's an administrator gets paid. And I looked at what are the available opportunities out there where I could get funding. Then I also got, some SAICA programs that were running at the time where I then invested in, okay, let me get an administrator for HR, let me get an administrator for finance, let me get an administrator for marketing. So those are the 3 areas that I looked at, say, I can't afford to go get a marketing specialist, but even if someone that does basic work, it's okay. And part of it was funded by SAICA, and then I just topped up at the time, So, and those are the things that I had to do. But also on my side, there were moments where I would not pay myself in that month, depending on the working capital and the cash flow that was available. But again, because of the support that was that I was enjoying, at home from my husband. So yeah, it really took a lot. But then also I was hopeful as well because of the clarity of where am I going, and the strategy, because I didn't take it for granted that I'm starting off. Therefore, strategy is something you think about, because I needed to be clear of to what end, what does success look like in 5 years' time? And I realized, I need scale.
How am I going to scale?
To get to this dream in 5 years, we need scale. And I realized, cannot do this by myself.
How do you scale?
Then it came to that, what I strongly believe in, the collaboration, right? I identified, okay, which other small firms are out there that, look, if you look at small firms, actually we are all for, we want to grow, we want to, get to this level and that level. We want the same things, right? But it's an issue of who actually will be the right partner for you to work with, and again, culture, will our our cultures align? Will we find each other in terms of the commonalities of goal and vision, in terms of the vision, where do we see ourselves and so forth? So I was fortunate enough that at the time that, I got to work with other small firms, and we had a project that was actually led by my current co-founder, Jerome.
Yes.
Under the firm that he had founded then as a chartered accountants. And in that program, as he brought us together, so he needed capacity as well. Then we got to work with him. We got to know each other. We realized, guys, this thing can work. Let's merge our firms. And that's how we actually build the capacity. But also in that process of merging, we realized that, hey, there are people who've been there, before us. as I said, I'm not shy to ask.
I need help because you've never had a merger. You've never merged a
Yes,
firm.
right?
Who can help us merge
Who
this
can
thing?
help us get this thing right? Because that's very important, right? For me, I was always very clear that, guys, when we start, the foundation must be right. Governance must be very clear. Delegation of roles must be very clear. We can't be in the boardroom fighting over who should be doing what and not doing what. Finances should be clear. How are we going to manage our finances? When do you withdraw? Under what circumstances and all that? So we had that done when we started off, right? But to the major part where we came to knock, that's when we came to knock on video stores to say, hey, you've got
Merging.
such a goal, you've got, guys,
Help us.
it's part of what you do. Come on with transformation. Please help us. We need some guidance on this process that we've embarked on, and we're very fortunate to get that support in terms of getting the agreements in place, and also with the Auditor General helped us in other aspects as well as part of the ESD program. Because what was great is that the 3 firms were under the ESD program of the Auditor General.
Sure.
Which was great.
That's amazing.
Right? And even with them, they were excited because that's what they want to see. They want to see smaller firms, growing, scaling up so that they can also start giving work that is more complex, that requires more capacity. And that's where we started to get more work that was in line with our strategy, because our strategy was that as much as we do the public sector work. So one of the great wins with that scaling up and coming together was that we were able to get work of, more complex work that required more capacity. And that enabled us to also achieve our strategic goals that we had with respect to on the public sector focus on the SOEs. Because SOEs enables us to give better exposure for our trainees, for example, with respect to IFRS and complexity of the environment as well, which was great. And for the Auditor General to give us that opportunity as well was wonderful. But also another thing that's very important is you get a diversity of skill with the larger group, and you're able to really, really implement your governance processes and policies that you have in place by pure delegation of responsibilities or separation of roles as well. So it was great in that aspect as well, because when you run a firm alone, you wear all these hats.
Correct.
CEO, CFO, HR respect, it's all of that. And you must do the work and manage stakeholders. And, as a result, it hinders your growth, right? Because your focus is, it's bits and pieces everywhere, you don't give it your fullest attention in different areas. So that was important for us to also win in that area in terms of governance and processes and clarity of roles and separation of roles. So it's been a great journey. And fast track, we also looked at, okay, but we need to find ways of how do we gain access to what is happening globally, right? As much as we have firms that are supporting us and so forth, how do we also ensure that we find ways to get that global access to global thought leadership? And hence we then embarked on a journey. What's beautiful with the MGI Worldwide is that you remain independent. Like there's another MGI firm in Cape Town, but they're totally independent from us. We're not in the same firm. Like the setup with BDO and other firms, it's not the same thing. So which is great, because for us, being a global citizen is important, not just for us as leaders to be out there, but for the young and emerging, leadership pipeline, which is our trainees, right? And that was as a result of what we looked at, what we went through during COVID time, is that actually there are lots of opportunities, not just locally. When we look at business development, we need to start looking at the world, not just South Africa only. Initially our strategy was focused on Africa. So, we're focusing on doing quality work and quality assurance work and advisory work in Africa. But we realized, actually, let's not limit ourselves, but look at the whole international footprint as well. So, yeah, important is that investing in people development, it's very key. And as I said earlier on, for your strategy to work, you need to have the right people. It's not about, it's not the dream that makes things work, right? Only it's the team
Exactly.
that makes things work, but you need the team to have clarity on what the dream is, right? So hence a transparency as well in communication. We embrace that. So let's be transparent, because the thing is, you have a young talent that's going to grow, and they're going to go look out to say, but what are my other options out there? So if they're not clear on where the firm is going, you run the risk of losing your talent as well. So for us, it was imperative to be transparent in terms of everything that we do: strategy, where we are; financial performance, where are we; performance management and rewards, how does it work; and clarity in terms of policies and sharing that, and communication. Was very important for us to make sure that we adopt that practice. And the continuous, people development, very, very key in terms of talent development. It's what we invest in even today. They say, if you want to see the importance of things in a business, you go study their income statement and the balance sheet. So for us, our biggest spend is really the salaries and training part. That's our large. Second to sorry, obviously with the building, leasing, and whatever. But in terms of the people cost is our biggest cost in the business. So an investment in quality.
Yeah.
We always say, we don't promise your clients what you are not living up to yourself.
True.
And for us, investment in quality cuts across all these other things I spoke about, in terms of training, in terms of staff engagement, and doing programs that are beyond just technical, updates. And that's what we invested in terms of leadership development programs, and finding programs out there that are available that we can expose our people again. Remember when we started off, what I said, like having intents, but now even at the leadership level, FASET has programs, that they do with GIPS and vets and what. So we got our people there to say, we need to make sure that everyone, from
Goes through the system.
like literally, it's our role in the firm, from the cleaner.
Wow.
Our cleaners are studying.
That's amazing. That's
Literally.
amazing.
Everyone in the company has to study something.
Sure. So, Patricia, what advice do you have for the millennial who wants to become a chartered accountant? Because a lot of the time now they'll say, well, millennials, they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. Oh, they don't work as hard as we used to. What advice do you have for a millennial watching this and saying, I want to be like Patricia one day? How do I get to this level?
Yeah. I'm going to start with the theme itself, right? Clarity. You need to have clarity of what is it that you want. This dream, we always talk about a dream, but simplify this dream. Make it, write it down. We always talk about vision boarding and what. It's so powerful to do that. I mean, I could show you letters that I wrote when I was still at varsity, letter to myself, letter to God in the form of prayer, asking for things. And today when I take stock, they've been happening. I was checking when the opportunity with SAICA came out. I checked my vision board. I was like, there it is. I always wanted to be this global leader. And this actually gave me that opportunity, I always dreamed of one day I'm going to become on these, committees, those international committees and what. Like, how do you get there? Like, I remember one day searching, like, I want to see, how do you get on the board of IFAC or, these standard setting boards and all that. And I thought, oh, you must be a member of profession. Okay. Like, okay, one day. But it's just amazing how it's important to put your vision down and make it so clear. What is picture? Whether you write it down, listen to yourself, whatever format, have that clarity. Because what happens is opportunities that comes in the form of opportunity in the relationship, right? Whether it's professional relationship in terms of people that you're going to work with, or students that you're going to, be with in the same class or so forth. Those opportunities, actually, if you look at them, they actually contribute towards that dream, right? And hence I said relationship equity, because it's the capital of relationship. It's what you need is very important, because what people, they help you with the navigation, right? Because those who've been there, they know how to get there. They can give you the route to say, here's a navigator. This is how
follow this path.
Follow this path. So it's important to have that clarity so that when you relate with people, when you now ask for, which is what I advocate for, when you want a coach, right? When you want a mentor, you have your why so clear. I always say when someone comes to me, I want you, please, can you be my mentor? My first question would be, why? What do you want to achieve in that relationship? The mentorship relationship that you want us to have. Right? So the clarity is so important because it cuts across everywhere. Then you relate with intentionality. You do things with intentionality. Right? A simple thing is when you read a book, there's intentionality because you're like, oh, I'm studying, I've got my board exams, but my choice of books must actually help me towards achieving this goal that I have. My choice of friendships.
Let's
Right?
add to this.
Yeah, especially that you ask about the young, the young ones. It's important. Sometimes you gotta learn to let go as well. Very important. I mean, to exit some of the relationships as well becomes very key, and they must learn their own exit strategies to say, well, when do I need to exit, right? And for what reason, right? When do I actually need to embrace other new relationships or new friendships? And even what we are driving as well in our firm is what we call professional friendships. We want our employees to be friends, professional friends, right? When do you start to embrace that? And when they start articles, how do they identify the right people to help them grow in their journey? Have an inquiring mind. Ask. It doesn't stop in a classroom, right? Even when you get into your workplace, it's important to ask. When you're not sure, you ask. But sometimes before you ask, you apply yourself, right? Important to apply, the skill of research and, finding information. It is so important in what we do. Very, very critical, right? So as you find information, as you learn, as you grow, important is, and I'm going to close with this one, is to pause and look at the results. Right? You've got that clarity of where you want to be. You've worked on the how. You've embarked on the journey. You got some results at a certain point. But when you get to the results, don't just move. Be the student of your results. Have I achieved? How far? Could I have done better? If I could have, what is it I can do differently? Or maybe I excelled. But what does this mean? How do I make sure that I can actually measure that I can help others achieve the same? Because I believe that we must all grow as we grow, help others to grow. In that way, our organizations where we find ourselves, they grow. And when you commit to helping others to grow, it forces you to grow. So my encouragement is have a growth mindset. Very important.
Patricia,
so thank you so much.
Thank you very much. This was absolutely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we will definitely be having a part 2. When Patricia starts her new role, we'll definitely make sure she comes back. As we said, clarity unscripted. Thank you.
Thank you.